Hello folks, my name is Brodzowski on Twitch, and me and some fellow guys, fellow racers and otherwise have had questions about whether or not we could get the Z1 software working with a tablet, because they don't have an app as such for either Apple or Android, which makes me sad. So, because it's really good software. So, I apologize if I name out specific people, because there were people that had questions that your average YouTube watcher won't know who those people are, but maybe this can help some other people too, because when I looked I couldn't find any information on whether it was possible. So it turns out that because there isn't an app, the only way that you can stream the information from the server to their dashboard is through a Windows operating system completely. I tried it on a Slate. The RT version doesn't work and can't be upgraded to either 8.1 or 10. So, secondly, I apologize for the camera shake. I'm just too lazy to get out a tripod and get a camera and whatever. So this is a phone video. You'll have to deal. So, this is the tablet I bought. It is an HP Stream 8. I think it has 32 gigs, but it does only have one gig of RAM. And everywhere I read on the reviews and stuff said that 10 was a little sluggish with 1 gig, and really you need one with 2 gig to run it nicely. I might agree with that. I haven't played with it much. I only bought it for this purpose. So that aside, this works pretty well with it, actually. The software here, as you can see, is installed, and I had the server running on my computer, and then I have a fourth screen up here too. So I decided that to try and get both of these screens in so that you can see my dash and the Slate down there, whatever, the Dealy Bob. This is about all the room I'm gonna have to be able to show you and to drive, so that's going to be tricky. So with that in mind, I decided I'm going to run an oval, because trying to do a road course would be a little much, even though the road course would show you more. I think this will get the point across. Some of the questions and issues were whether we were going to have lag, and whether or not this software, that's the biggest one, and whether the software could be streamed to a tablet to begin with, because obviously if you could have some sort of mount. I mean, I just have it sitting on the keyboard tray of my Ubuntu here, but if you could have some sort of tablet mount. I have one, but it's for an iPad, so you could put it, anywhere near your, I guess you wouldn't want to do it behind your wheel. That wouldn't work very well. But without any further ado, let me get my setup here first. And we're in the sim. So the server's already running and waiting for this dashboard. Normally it would come up to that. You might have seen that little screen blink real quick. But you can see it brings up all of my information on the little tablet. Now, Tubbs, I know you asked what this was down here in the corner. This apparently is your connection. I know there's normally a DL or whatever there. It also, for those of you that don't know, you can put this on one single device, but if you go into your settings on the website where you signed up, you can place this name for whatever sim you're running, rFactor 2, whatever, the whole list of them. And if that name that comes up there matches what's in your account, then you can stream to 100 different units. It doesn't matter. Of course, I'm going to show you that kills your latent. I'm going to call this latency over here. So let's get in the car. And you'll see that the dash pops up over here. And I'll try to halfway hold that steady, but being able to drive with one hand. Let's see if I can put it right about there. And you'll be able to watch. I would watch both my shifts. You'll see that there's a minimal delay between my shifts, and also look at the fuel amount here and also on my dash over here. And you can see there's just the slightest of little delays, not by much. So here we go. I'm not going to be watching the camera, I'm going to be watching the road, so I apologize if I'm wiggly or you missed something. You'll see down at the bottom where the timing is. When you hit your best lap, it gives you your lap time, and your best lap will turn purple. So see, the 25:06 is my best time, so it turned purple down there at the bottom. And it goes back to normal timing. And if you don't hit it, then it just comes up normal. Oh, shoot. That's the wall. I was looking down. Alright, so here is the other cool part. Of Z1. I really, Tubbs doesn't like this so much, but I really like this screen. That shows me where I am on the track. If it's a road track, that's going to help huge. You know, there's a ton of video games that have the little track layout in the corner. Honestly, if you practiced enough, you should know the track. But still, it shows everybody else that's on the track. I know what place I am. That comes from this relative screen over here. My lap times are right there. How much fuel I have, how much fuel I can run. Obviously that's wrong. I can't run 43.2, but it needs a couple more real laps for it to figure it out. And then how much I have to the or how much I need to the finish. I'm very sorry about that glare on the screen. There's not much I can do about it. As I've shown before in other stuff, there's lots of information in here. These are all your various settings, ARB, wing, mix. This is tire wear for after the, and it shows real-time G's. I don't know if I hurt the car or not, but it does have real-time information in there. And every screen you use has a limiter just like that flashes. Okay, I think that's all of them. I don't think I went through that one either, but they're all have lots of useful information. That one pops up when you hit your limiter, when you're pulling into the pits. This gives you your pit information. So the last trick that I wanted to show you, as you can see, our latency is pretty good, the little green bar. What happens if I have buddies that come over to watch my race, which is a lot of the reason I put this fourth monitor up there, because they sit behind me in these comfortable chairs. And they watch the broadcast and they watch my race. And then I added this for them so that I can put that screen up at the top. So here we have it up here and down here. But I run this one up here for them, plus I like it and I can see it. And then you could still have your digital dash down here if you wanted it to. If you wanted it, like I said, mounted over here or whatever. You will see that my latency has changed a lot because I have a second instance running. Now, I have this running off a pretty crappy router upstairs, and I'm down in the basement. I do not have this connected to my good one. The girls use that a lot for playing games and for streaming movies and whatever. So I didn't go through the trouble to hook it up to my good one. That may make a difference, but I will tell you that now you will see, if I didn't freak out the car, you will see a little bit more lag than you did before.
Minute 3.472.
That was a good lap. It's still not terrible, but it's definitely noticeable between running 1 and 2. Now, one last thing
25.83
that I need to show you is that when I set this up, I had a heck of a time because in the settings, I guess I have to get out of here. Hang on a second. I have to shut this one off. I apologize. I have to close the session so that I can get to the beginning screen here. Okay. I had a hell of a time because this button is not a click button. On the computer, it is. But if you try to tap it, it doesn't do anything. Oh, sure it will now. I promise you, normally it won't. I think it's a swiper, and I have this problem. That when I go over to this side of the thing, it swipes in my... So it's hard for me to go between these two screens. I have to get lucky to close it. Okay, anyway. Point is that if we go to settings, and I have to look underneath my freaking phone under display right here. I changed that to always. That's fine, but auto scaling must be on this tablet or it crashes. I turned that off to try and get it to fill the screen right, and it also reduces a little bit of the lag if you don't use that scaling button. But it wouldn't stay running. Like, it would do it once, it would be perfect. There was absolutely, you could tell, no lag. But as soon as I closed it and tried to bring it back up, it would come up to a black screen, and I'd have to go into the INI and change it back to yes. And so I put it on scaling and also the scale text to yes, and you can barely tell, even on a crappy router. So point of the story is, yep, it can be done. Good luck.